Hi, I was just going to have a look at a few things on the Dow again. It's getting pretty interesting, and sort of basically we're at a point now where I think it's either just going to hold off and come back a bit and then try and have another go at these tops. Now, several reasons for it. What we've got in front of us here at the moment is the daily chart, okay, on the Dow. Our 200 simple moving day average is here, okay, and we've just had our 30-day and our 50-day move up through it. Our 7 and 14 have already been through it, and that to me is, not an ideal golden cross because we had this drop off back through it here and a retest of it which failed, but it came down and it picked up the 195 EMA, which did support, and it supported both quite evenly on these two shoulders. There's a right shoulder here, I believe, and a left shoulder there, and a head here for a small inverted head and shoulders. Okay, whether it plays out or not is another matter, but with it being there, and also with it other things happening on the weekly chart and the monthly chart, would suggest that it has a fair chance of running its full run. And inverted head and shoulders are very good at hitting targets, and the target on this one's up here at around about 13,150 is what I'd be looking at. Now, it may not go there straight away, it might take some time. Obviously, the shortest will be looking at the red lines up here, and that would, the whole world's probably looking at them, probably thinking that's a golden short. But they could just get a surprise. But, I'd just be looking at these here because, there could be a short here and it could come back and bounce off this fib line here, which from the GFC high to low is the 23.6% fib. Okay, it's quite a high fib, so I'm not holding much with it. And the little candle setup that we've got in here, we've got a little hanged man, okay, and then we've got our little cross in here, little dojo in here at the moment, and then a lower open, obviously. After a lower open, it just comes off, okay? Our 7-day moving average is looking like it wants to turn a little bit here, which is a bit of a concern. So whether it comes back and just retests the neckline or comes back and retests the 200 in the blue down here is going to be the interesting thing over the next, I'd say, week. But I don't think it's going to come that far. It could even open up on Monday, and if it goes up from here, this is just going to straighten up, and these guys are going to keep on going up, okay? And then it's going to start tapping on the door up around here and start fiddling around up here is what I tend to be thinking. If we just have a quick look at the daily indicators, the thing that interests me is MACD is starting to curl, okay? That's just like a little flat top on the MACD up here at the moment. Scots are getting up, right up here in the 90 range, okay? But as we've seen in before, they can stretch along and they can do things there. But the one thing that's concerning me at the moment, we've had this little, we've had two, or we've had three in here actually. We've had 1, 2, 3 short entry sell signals, okay, on the smaller DEMAs, okay? The larger DEMA at the moment, which predicts the trend, can still go up to, well, before here on the Dow of late in this same period, it's been up around the 68 mark, and at the moment it's around about 60. So it does have a bit of room to go. It could sit around these sort of levels here, okay, before deciding to go anywhere, and up here on this here, when it did this run up here, okay, I'll put these two black lines in to show you exactly what it did. And the trend was saying up, but the stock price didn't. It did go up and it finished up, but it stuffed around sideways for quite some time. So it was interesting, but it picked the trend as being up. And if you'd bought a long down here and held it till the divergence crossed up here, okay, where you had your third and final. Your third and final was it was here or here. That was the first sell signal. You would have been a long way in front. If you just have a look at it again, that was basically saying that's the buy, okay, and this is the sell, okay, and it also predicted a sell up in here as well. So you would have been a good, well, in these levels in here, 10,700, and these levels up here, 12,300, odd, so you've pulled up 600 points. So yeah, interesting, isn't it? Also, what we need to look at on that DEMA, if we get a divergence, it's still quite a way off a divergence. You can put divergence in here. You can put even sharper, closer divergence in, okay, which would be up here. Okay, so it's still got a way to come there, and that could just be a sideways movement at the moment, and giving it some time to work off the overboughts. Okay, so I just bear that in mind. I'm just going to pause this and come back with a weekly chart. Here's the Dow weekly chart, and the interesting bit about it, again, we've got our tops coming up. Okay, I call that a double top in there. Not technically correct, but it's pretty damn close for my book. We've stopped right on this fib. Okay, that's your GFC 23.6. Okay. What I'm sort of looking at here is this is all of a sudden starting, if we start getting up here around to the top of the volley, which would bring up this top here, and we'll just find out where that was. 12,700s, okay. That's starting to look like a little cup and handle in the making here, and you've had prior run up, okay. The prior trend was bullish, so this could be a cup and handle. So that just sort of makes me start thinking about that little inverted head and shoulders again, okay. And I might be dreaming here, the world's pretty stuffed, but I think the market might have factored a few things in here. But still, the red line is the one to beat at the moment. If it doesn't get through the red line, it's not going anywhere. So I just thought I'd bring that up. That could be a perfect up here, come off, form a handle, then do, cup and handle breakout. And don't forget this is a weekly chart, because this could take several months to happen. Okay, it could take a couple of months to happen. Okay, so just bear it in mind. Okay, but at the moment, to me, if we have a look on the weekly, the last time we had 195 across the 200 was back here in just around 205. And look at the run up it had since then. And what's happened just recently, the 195's gone through the 200. A bit spooky, isn't it? So there's a few things coming on here, and the MAs up here on the weekly chart, they're all looking rather on the bullish side to me. Whether it just comes back and retests this blue line and buys some time, because also up here on the weekly now, we've got our scoff up here again, up here at 90. But then it can hang around here on the weekly. It could give me that couple of months to form a handle, Our DEMA, okay, is still here, okay, at 55. Now, I've seen DEMAs run to 90, okay, and we've seen this one here is run to pretty close to, let's have a look. Well, that's 77, so, it's been up there before, okay, so basically, weekly chart, even though indicators would be looking overbought, my DEMA, which I put a lot of faith in, still isn't at the moment. Okay, and as far as divergence goes, it's definitely a breakout. If you run it off of there, if you run it off of those two there, sort of thing, it's looking okay. So interesting one. I'll come back with the monthly in a minute, because that's the interesting bit. Here's an interesting bit on the monthly, and we're looking at, because we've had a couple of bullish signals on the other two charts, and we're looking for something to back up the story here. Well, if our green continues to turn up here, our red's already pushed through the green. Our green usually follows up and goes through the red. That's the 7 and 14. But look here, and I've been babbling on about this for weeks, is this yellow coming out through the blue, and it finally has. Last time it did it was back here again. Guess what? 205. What happened after that? Okay, don't have to be Einstein, do you? Yeah, so bullish signs here on the monthly chart as well, which is the long-term chart. And also the monthly has just put in a buy signal here, okay, and it's turning up. So very interesting, I'd say, at the moment, the Dow, and I'd be looking on the bullish side. Anyway, in my opinion, that's what the charts are saying, so whether it's right or wrong. Yeah, but we had a buy signal here on the Deamer on the monthly, and we had another one in here, and now we've got one in here. Okay, and let's just have a look and see where they were. Bang, bang, bang. So interesting, yeah. So let's just bear that in mind. We've got the MAs, just to recap. Okay, that yellow going through the blue on the monthly, and then you've got basically our weekly. Okay, with our Deamer's still got more to go, and what have you, indicators there. We've got our so-called may turn out to be a cup and handle. Don't hold much faith in it at the moment. It's a bit of a pie in the sky, but I'd keep it in the back of the brain. Yeah, so the MAs here on this also looking bullish. Okay, and then we have our daily. Here at the moment, looks like it wants to come off and play around for a little while, but still that little inverted head and shoulders that could do something. So yeah, all in all, and the MAs still here are quite bullish, and we've had what we need now is a cross up with the 195 up through the 200, and that'll set the world on fire. But on all those charts, remember the red line at the top. It's got to get through that first. Okay, so something worth thinking about anyway. That's what I'd be thinking. So I wouldn't be thinking we're going to have a big catastrophic drop-off of a couple of thousand points in a night or anything like that. Yeah, to me, it looks like a more sideways to up movement at the moment, or then it could just turn into a slow grind down. But yeah, that's what I'd be thinking. I'm not thinking any really big crashes at the moment.